welcome. This is my first book review for my channel. I finished So Let Them Burn about like a month ago, so a little bit of the details are going to be kind of fuzzy, but I think that I'm pretty locked in. I really liked it, but I don't know if it had like everything that I was hoping. All of the covers are really cool, but I also really like this one. I don't know what language that's in, but the main character looks a lot like Mel from Arcane. Just like the gold with like the red. And she's got like sparkly gold freckles like Mel. This book is called So Let Them Burn by Camilla Cole. There's a little quote like on the top of this website. So it is a Jamaican inspired young adult fantasy that follows a God's blessed heroine. And it's like a dual POV with this character that the quote is talking about and her sister. Thankfully, this like despite all the characters being really young, they all acted like adults, more like adults than characters that are supposed to be older than them in other books. So there's like gods in this universe, there's magic in this universe, but I feel like it's not really sci-fi, but there's also like mechanical, like they're planes, but they're kind of described like they're giant mech suits, if that makes any sense at all. It doesn't really make any sense. About like 5 years prior to the events of this book, Farron, Alara, the Queen, and like all of the people of San Irie were fighting in a war against this evil empire. And this evil empire is kind of just like taking over the rest of the world. So Farron had to like fight off and kill all of these dragons with the help of the gods. So she can speak to the gods and the gods can also speak to her. I feel like she has to sort of summon them in a way. Like I think she's to seek them out. So the Queen of San Irie, which is the name of this island kingdom that we're on, the queen comes to meet with Farron. She's like, "Hey yo, we gotta go to the capital and like, do some stuff. I need to tell you what's up." And Farron is like, "No, I don't want to go." She doesn't want to go. She just wants to do her own thing. She doesn't want to go, but for some reason, she decides to go meet with her sister's like best friend. And this guy isn't a random dude. He's not random at all. Farron knows him. He's like mysterious and she's like the tough girl, and they're like that weird enemies to lovers that isn't actually enemies to lovers, and they kind of just are madly in love with each other but pretend that they hate each other, or maybe they've had one bad experience with one another and we've miscommunication troped our way to any sort of tension. But it's also the good kind of enemies to lovers that I like, where it's two opposing sides of a battle that have liked each other this whole time but can't be together because they're on two different sides. But I knew immediately that he was going to be her love interest. Like, you can just tell. He didn't have like a 3 page, 5 minute monologue about how cute he is or anything, but you could just tell. I think that Reeves' dad is actually like an evil emperor. I don't think that he's the general. I think that's somebody else that is like in cahoots with the evil people. I'm gonna put like a little sticky note on the screen that like has all the characters, but so far we have Farron that can speak to gods. We have Reeve that is the son of the evil guy, and then we have Alara, which is Farron's older sister. Alara is also there, and they're in like this big ballroom, and then she feels this pull. She feels this pull to a girl that's on the other side of like this room, And so she goes up and talks to her, and Alara learns that this girl is on the opposing side of the war, but she doesn't really like fighting. She wants to make a difference or really fight her battles with words and political power. So Alara is feeling this pull towards this girl from the other side. Their conversation ends, and then Alara and the girl separate, but this pull on her chest is getting stronger, and she's hearing a whisper in the wind, this voice calling her name. So she follows the pull outside. There's a huge dragon, like hidden under some trees. And Alara's like, what? Like, the dragons are not allowed to come to the castle. One of the deals that they made was to keep the dragons away because they would incite fear with all of the civilians and stuff. So both of the girls are like, oh shit, there's a dragon here. We gotta, like, get this dragon out of here. And then Farron and the whole kingdom jumps in, like, oh shit, there's a dragon. So Farron starts like channeling the three gods and like using their powers to like fight this dragon. Like, that's what she did in the war. She's a fighter. She killed dragons. She can see Alara is feeling it. Alara is feeling all of the attacks that Farron is doing on the dragon. So they stop fighting. So it turns out that this dragon is both bonded to Alara, but also to this other girl that she was talking to. So the queen and the emperor decide that Alara needs to go to this dragon riding empire to be bonded with her dragon and be bonded with this other girl. And she doesn't really have a choice in it. Like, she doesn't want to go, but when the queen is like, hey, be my spy, like, she's not gonna say no to the queen. Farron goes to contact the gods. Basically, the gods are like, hey, Farron, you gotta kill every single dragon ever in the whole world so we can finally take the empire down, because the empire is fighting against the gods. So would you like please just go kill a couple dragons for us, you know? And Farron is like, absolutely not. If I kill all the dragons, then I'll have to kill my sister. So she refuses to do it. But when they tell her essentially that she has to kill her sister, she immediately is like, no, I would never kill my sister. I'm not going to do that. There must be another way. Maybe the bond can be broken and I can kill all dragons and save my sister at the same time. The sisters have this like fantasy phone thing where they will like catch up with each other every week and like go through their weeks together. So Alara starts telling Farron about, like, I think she sneaks in somewhere and finds a document, or she just like hears it around the school. She hears around the dragon school about this god that has like fallen or disappeared or something. But he was called like the Grey Saint, and he was the first ever person to bond with the dragon. So Alara like obviously tells Farron about it. So Farron gets a little idea in her head, and she decides that she's gonna try to get in contact with the Grey Saint to kind of just ask him if there's a way to break the bond. So the god guy is like, yeah, absolutely, of course, I'll help you break the bond. You just have to like help me out in exchange. So Farron keeps I don't think she does anything for him specifically, but she keeps meeting with him and like speaking with him in her mind just as she does with the other three gods, but she's kind of keeping him a secret away from the other gods. And the whole time that Farron is having this little plot about her speaking to the god, and there's also like her and Reeve flirting with each other, doesn't really matter. At the same time, Alara is like learning how to ride a dragon, and she's learning how to speak with Signy. I don't think that I've put a name to her yet, But Signy is the other girl that was in the ballroom and the one that is bonded with the same dragon. Farron and Alara keep talking to each other on this phone thing and very quickly, like surprisingly quickly, determine that the god that Farron is speaking to, the Grey Saint, must be evil. Like, I don't think that there was really anything that he did that pointed Farron so quickly into that direction. She just like immediately knew that he was evil, which is honestly like fine. I feel like I'd rather her be really smart and immediately know than go through the entire book of Farron being stupid. I hate when a main protagonist woman is stupid and then you keep telling me that she's smart and then you don't make her smart. So the Grey Saint becomes like an all powerful being and he is like inciting a war and he takes his dragon with him, and it turns out that they like were never actually dead. They were like iceberged when like the animal was frozen in like the giant ice cube and like Ice Age or something. That's basically what happened to him. So he goes somewhere, Farron goes to meet him there with Reeve, and then Alara and Signy go to meet him, and they kind of all like meet in the middle to like fight and try to stop whatever war or something. I think he's I think the Grey Saint is kind of just trying to rule the world, you know, like basic bad guy stuff. But then Farron gets what she wanted the whole time, and Alara's bond is broken with the dragon. So Alara can't mind speak with Signy anymore. She can't mind speak with the dragon. And Farron also loses her connection to the gods. Dude, and then suddenly the Grey Saint is mind speaking to Farron, and she's of course like, "What the fuck is happening?" So the Grey Saint actually took away Alara's bond, and since the Grey Saint is the only person bonded to his dragon, he somehow chose Farron to also be bonded to the dragon because you're supposed to have two people, and he never had like a second person, and that's why he's kind of like crazy evil, is because he was the only person bonded and it like drove him mad. And then like I'm gonna be honest, like I don't know what was happening, and I don't know if I don't know if it's because I wasn't paying enough attention or like what, but somehow the Grey Saint takes over Reeve's body, and like Reeve isn't Reeve anymore, and I don't know if the Grey Saint puts himself into Reeve's body or is just like controlling him somehow, like some sort of puppet. So the book ends with the Grey Saint taking Reeve and Farron and like flying into the sky, never to be seen again. We then get one more POV chapter from Alara, and she's just like freaking out, and she's talking to Signy, and they're trying to figure out what to do. And then all of a sudden, Alara starts hearing voices in her head, and she's like, "I can't speak to my dragon, I can't talk to Signy, so like what is going on?" So the gods, the three gods that Farron could speak to, are now speaking to Alara, and they're like telling Alara that she's now their chosen, and you have to do what Farron could never do. So now the freaking three gods are like, you have to kill your sister. So that's basically how it ends. Like the two sisters, Farron and Alara, just like switch places. Like the other one goes to the dragons, and the other one is gonna have to fight for the kingdom and fight against the dragons. Like there's definitely gonna be a second one. I don't know when it comes out. There were a lot of things that I really liked. Like I think from a craft perspective, it was really good. Like it was written very well. But I also like left this book wanting more, and I feel like that is like somewhat of like a good thing, like of course, but I wish that we got more out of this book. It's fine if you don't have a romance, but I wanted more action. There was like literally no action. Like I wish more happened, and This might sound a little crazy, but hear me out. If you've read this, I wish that Reeve, instead of Farron's love interest being Reeve, I wish it was another person from San Irie. The people of the kingdom have like their own really cool magic system that I just wanted to see more of, and there was only like a very very small segment that had it, but like Alara could summon her ancestors and speak to them, and I thought that that was awesome. Like that's so cool. But it was like immediately wiped when she left to go to the dragon school. I very much enjoyed all of the like casual representation that was happening, and there was never a label put on it, but I think that it was like mentioned in the beginning that Farron is demisexual, and I thought that that was really cool. Despite like my little complaints that I had about it, I did really like it, and I think that I definitely would like recommend it, like especially if you're looking for another dragon book that is like actually written good. But yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna read like the second one. I'm like the worst person ever. I never really pick up like I don't read series. I kind of read the first one, and like the first one has to be really really good, or it just has to be like entertaining bad, like entertaining bad in a way that it can just be background noise while I'm doing something else. But I feel like if I were to pick up the second one, like I would want to pay attention. But yeah, I think that's all I have to say. I did really like it. And I don't know, maybe I'll do more book reviews. I don't read too much. And it's very difficult to have myself talk this much. Yeah, but like let me know if you want to see more book reviews, and thanks for watching this video.